Yet another video tour. Shabbat Shalom, sir. Yes, I did say that to this random ultra-Orthodox Jewish person. Yes, I did. Anyway, we are on a video little tour in my wheelchair, courtesy of Edgar pushing me. I just left Stuyvesant town to drop off some paperwork in the hopes that someday I might be able to get to live there, you never know. And we are headed towards the IRT number 2 train, which is on 7th Avenue. But as many of you know, this is East 14th Street in beautiful Greenwich Village, Manhattan, New York City. One of the most hippest with it places in the known universe. Good Lord, is there lots of history just on this one street alone. Just for those of you who are not hip and aware, East 14th Street straddles Avenue C, I think, D possibly, all the way in that direction. It goes all the way the High Line of 12th or 11th Avenue. Jesus, how could I not know that? This way, please, this way. I just rescinded my New York City Hip credit card. I should know the exact streets that 14th Street straddles all the way east and all the way that way west. But I know this much. This is the East Village. And I think when we cross 5th Avenue is the dividing line between west and east. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will, that once you cross 5th Avenue, it becomes Chelsea, the southernmost end of Chelsea. The heart of Chelsea is the 23rd Street west area, which leads to what is now the High Line. It's a really great place to visit. And Chelsea begins at 14th, but then below it is East Village, and on the west side is the start of the Greenwich Village. You can shame me for not knowing these things the way I know my name, because I've lived in New York City 59 and a half years, and in all seriousness, I should know these things. It's fun to stay at the IMCA. So we'll just do a little video tour, and all the hip with it New Yorkers that are still here, especially you Manhattanites, will know and enjoy this. This has to be pretty hip with the synagogue because it's in East Village. Yes, folks, they're hip with it together Jews. There's plenty of them. They don't all live in Brooklyn or clustered in, just shtetls, the modern day shtetls like Williamsburg or Borough Park. Anyway, that's proof. Anyway, Artichoke Pizza across the street. My friend Dan Bolenkamp turned me on to that. In all the years I've lived here, so what that red canopy is. In all the years I've lived here, I've never eaten there, and I got to eat there in October of 23 when him and I saw the King Crimson tribute concert at the Beacon Theater. That is some killer Sicilians there, folks. Artichoke Pizza. A newsstand that might be abandoned, I don't know. It's really true that in Manhattan, you could have more history in about 1, 2, or 3 blocks than you might have in like an entire city elsewhere. New York Eye Infirmary, Mount Sinai. Seriously. Second Avenue. This is the part of East Village that I think on 6th Street used to be the Fillmore East many, many years ago, and before that it was the Yiddish Theater, as there was plenty down over there on, I think, is it 6th or 9th? Maybe it's 6th is Velselka, the world famous Ukrainian restaurant, which I love. I definitely recommend Velselka for Ukrainian food needs. 99-cent pizza. I guess the working class people got to eat too, you know. The thing one must remember is that for all of the upscalery, foo-fooery of Manhattan, of which there is no end to, plenty of places, plenty of eateries, restaurants, Coyote Ugly, Saloon. I don't know if that's the one from the movie, but there you go. So many people, I think it's at least 60-70% of New Yorkers that live in the outer boroughs, in Harlem, and you know, and don't make the money. They come down here to work. Municipal workers, city workers, hospital workers, supermarket, delivery, you name it. Post office. You know, you have to remember, you see a lot of people that don't live in Manhattan. They probably live in the outer boroughs, like I do in the Bronx. They probably live in non-gentrified Brooklyn. They live in lots of parts of Queens, Staten Island, you know, maybe New Jersey. And they gotta eat dollar pizza because that's what they can afford. But I would tell these people, you know, you could save up enough of your money and eat at a much better place like a Velselka or a little more high-scale place. That is not a chain. That is not TGI Fridays. That is not.
I think it's because
you know, KFC's. None of those things. It's like we have more restaurants in New York City than the rest of the country put together. The rest of the cities put together. Or at least something close to that. It would seem that way. If you look at the Zagat's restaurant guide, close to half of them are in Manhattan and New York. We kick the rest of the cities of the America's asses when it comes to that. Simple as that. We're approaching 3rd Avenue. They're supposed to one day finish building the 3rd Avenue L that will go from 72nd all the way down to like Chatham Square or something. Supposedly. I will probably not live to see that, unfortunately. I wish I would, but probably not. Future generations will enjoy that. The Q train that goes all the way down 3rd Avenue to Chinatown, Financial District. But for now, it's only Upper East Side that gets it. Coming up here, somewhere on this block, where NYU now stands, used to be the Palladium Theater. Yours truly saw Asia and Peter Gabriel there back in 1982. When concerts were $10 and $15. Yes, they were that cheap. So where you see these NYU flags was the marquee and everything else that indicated that it was the Palladium Theater. I don't know when that went out of business, but oh, look at this, Palladium. They named this building of NYU, which has taken over a lot of Manhattan property, way beyond 4th Street and where it normally is. They called it Palladium to honor the Palladium Theater. Maybe, who knows? Here's a Trader Joe's. If you live on the Upper West Side, 72nd Street Broadway, your Trader Joe's is going to be closed for a while, renovations. So come down to this one.
It was pretty, it was a quick thing.
The funny thing about some Manhattanites is that they don't leave their neighborhoods. They only go like a certain radius. Like if you live on the Upper West Side, they stay there. If you live on the Upper East Side, they stay there. Not all of them. I've met people. I have a friend of mine that's sort of like that. That just wants to stay on the Upper West Side. It's a comfort zone. It's what he knows. I mean, of course, if I say, hey, meet me in Union Square, meet me in the Village, he'll do it. But I just, it's like a weird New York City, like Manhattan characteristic trait. Irving Plaza down there, the Empire State Building. No, it's Chrysler Building. I just lost some more Manhattan cred calling the Chrysler Building the Empire State Building. Shows you how dumb I am. Teeming masses of humanity across East 14th Street. Always busy. Always something going on. Like I said, we are still technically in the very upper reaches of the East Village, but in reality we are now approaching Union Square. Let's hear it for the unions, and it happens to be May Day. No, I am not celebrating communism. May Day is a day that also was adopted by, I think, unions to, to celebrate the working class and to, have solidarity amongst the unions, of which I used to be in too. First, I was in the Communications Workers of America when I worked at Verizon, and then I was in the Transit Workers Union when I worked for New York City Transit. How about that, folks? So anything to do with unions, I generally am on the side of them. Okay. I'm just taking a break. Here's entrance to Union Square Station. I used to work here, among other subway stations. This was a real interesting station. By the way, for those of you that don't know, that might happen to be disabled or in wheelchairs like me, 14th Street Station, you can take the elevator to get to the N, the Q, W, and R trains, and the L, but not the 4, 5, and 6. I found out the hard way years ago, being a station agent here. I found out the hard way. They on the subway map, they do indicate that the 4, 5, and the 6 are not accessible by elevator from the train platform to the mezzanine, but the other trains are. So a little bit of trivia for there for those that don't know or possibly don't care. In spite of the rise of anti-Semitism, anti-Jewish activities in New York, no thanks to what's going on in Israel and West Bank, Gaza, and all that, religious Jews do not change. They do not stop doing what they're doing, the same way that everybody does what they do. Like this guy. Hello.
How big are they?
Here's Union Square. Trivia question: is it really a square? I don't know. I think it is actually square shaped. That black building, the distance, the flowers. That's a interesting. For some reason, I always like that building, the flower arrangements, terraces, and everything. There's so many buildings in Manhattan, like that just catch your eye, and you go, wow. Another cool building, another one, yet another one. There's so many of them. You're so blessed. If you like buildings, there's no better place in the world, possibly. I don't know, maybe Dubai is better these days, maybe London, maybe... I don't know. I wouldn't know, and I will probably never know. I just know that the United States of America, if you are into buildings and architecture and structures and stuff, this is your place. Let's go here. Oh, careful! Ah! God bless, sir. I wish I... God bless you too. You'll be okay. You got street vendors. You got all the people selling schmata, stuff. You got people selling iPhone cases and more clothing. And here's your Whole Foods, one of the best Whole Foods around. Uh-oh. Should I do it, folks? I'm going to be doing it at home. I'll explain later. What's that? 7th Avenue. 7th, we're coming up to it very quick. I was just talking about how the super religious Jews don't treat those are people trying to get those young Jewish men were trying to get people to wrap tefillin. So prayer shawl, prayer ritual for the Sabbath. Guys, if you're here anytime. Sad. A lot of homeless. It's really not a joke. It's really sad. Just another couple of blocks. Okay. We've just crossed 5th Avenue. And as a consequence of that, we are no longer in East Village. We are no longer in the Union Square area. We are in the very lower reaches of Chelsea, if that's worth anything to anyone. I'm trying to think. I know 23rd Street is Chelsea, but what about you go to 21st, 19, whatever? Is it still? I think it is. I don't think it's another name of a neighborhood. We're coming up to 5th Avenue. We have 2 more avenues to go. 2 more. There's no wheelchair besides me. Maybe a CVS, but it's very, very interesting architecture. I'm sure there's the stuff upstairs beyond the CVS that warrants such interesting design and such. Seems a little less populated, a little less busy on this part of town. Which I guess surprises me. I would figure that east west, like it wouldn't matter. That either side of 14th Street, it's just busy, whatever. Wonderful. We have construction here. What are we supposed to do? Is there a way to get around? Or no? Use pedestrian walkway. All right. Let's see if there really is a walkway here. That involves not too big a bump for a wheelchair. Oh, okay, you can go over here. Hey, Guitar Center. It's one of the only music stores left in Manhattan to buy guitars, keyboards, and stuff. Been a long time since West 48th Street Music Row was a thing. It hasn't been in a long time. I went to a Sam Ash that was on West 34th and 9th, early 2023. By keyboard, and that's gone now too. Thank you, Internet, for helping destroy a good deal of New York City's music stores. They're still mom and pop ones. There's still small guitar stores in the Village. There's even one on the Upper East Side, I think. Yep. I remember back in the 80s when this part, West 14th, was a hellhole. It was really dirty, filthy, and blech. They cleaned it up. It's much cleaned up since then. Once in a while, you get some city theater people who just decide to lash out, yell, scream, whatever, and just ignore them. That's all you can do. That's all they're worth. All right, this is 6. One more, and we're going home. Now, this sort of Tetris-looking building, or Jenga, there's quite a few of these around the city now. Must have went up in the last 10 or so years. I certainly do not recognize it. I used to work at this subway station, which is the F, the M, and the L. FML. We don't know what that stands for. Hey, let me take a close shot at that. FML. Which, when I worked here, they were working on connecting it with the two IRT, which they now did. Did I not notice this building? Village West. One more. This had to have been here when I worked here back in 23, while I was still okay. Yes, right? God, how much do people pay to buy these condos? Rentals. $1 million or so, easily. One more block.
Yo. Everything is like a video. Let's cross, man.
Headed to 7th Avenue. little tour is almost over. Of East and West 14th Streets. Merry Christmas. Like I said, New York City is home to a huge multitude of humanity. Yes, plenty of upscale, wealthy people that can afford to live in Manhattan, but also plenty of people that can't, and they live in the other boroughs. And they come to Manhattan, and it's like a playground. Yeah, there was an elevator on the other side that was not there when I still worked here. It's relatively new, and I'm so happy that they put one there because now I can get into the station without having to walk downstairs. Alright. We'll just stop at the store, get something to drink, and then go home. Actually, we could stop right here at the truck.
I think it's so apparent.
Alright. Tour is over.